Well, hello there, friends. This is Scott from Platte River Keto. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Excited to have you here along for the journey. Here on my channel, you get to come along on the ride for my keto journey. I check in with you at least once a week to update you on my progress on my health journey. Try to check in with you at least one other time a week to share insights that I've had into the keto diet most of the time, but not always. Also just talking and sharing a little bit about getting through this journey we call life. Today is my weekly check-in. I checked my relationship with Earth's gravity, and I had a fantastic week from that perspective. The last couple of weeks, as those of you who have been following along know, I've been kind of holding steady. This week I had a pretty big drop. I went from 329.8 to 323.0. So that's almost 7 pounds in a week. I think that, likely what happened was last week I wasn't able to do my weigh-in when I normally do. It was actually on Sunday instead of Saturday, which meant my weight might have been a little bit up that day. So anyway, I think there can be a little bit of fluctuation in there, but I think I'm making some good progress, which was really exciting to see. So to just recap from where I am from where I started, July 21st, 2021, I started at 475.6. Now at 323, that means I have lost 452.6 pounds. There you go. So really excited about that. That was good progress. It's fun to see that number go down. Honestly, it's not really the thing that I'm focused on. I like to check in once a week. I like to know that over time is trending downward, of course. But how I'm feeling is really more important to me, and I'm feeling really good. So anyway, wanted to have that weekly check-in with you. The other thing that I wanted to share with you today, before I do share a little bit more, once again, trusty notebook, share a little bit more about my experience at the Hard to Kill Summit in Omaha, the Keto Summit, the first keto conference that I went to. I had one other thing that I wanted to share with you before I got to a few notes from that today. It is marching band season, and had the opportunity to go to the first home football game for the North Platte Bulldogs, the high school here in town. My son plays the trombone in the marching band, so I am a proud band dad. Enjoyed the halftime show. They are doing a medley of Billy Joel, who is like my favorite music artist, so I was really excited about that. They played their first number at halftime, and it was great. The football game was really fun. Unfortunately, our team came up a little bit short, but it was a great evening, just about as nice as you can get weather-wise in Nebraska in August. It was, I think, in the mid-80s, but it was a little bit of a breeze, and had just kind of barely overcast skies, so it wasn't too bad. It was a great evening. Part of the reason I share that with you, though, is because I was able to reflect back a little bit on last year's marching band season versus this year's season, and just how different I felt. Last year, at this time, I had just started. Obviously I started in July of 2021, so I'd been doing the ketogenic diet for about 2 months, and I was definitely feeling better, but the size difference, my size difference, obviously having lost over 150 pounds, was significant. I was so much more comfortable for me to sit in the stands, and I said it wasn't a thing hardly. I felt great the whole time. The other thing that I noticed while I was there was my brother, who ended up sitting just a row down below me, and his family had gotten some snacks, as people often do when they go to a football game, and he had some popcorn. And I remembered back to last year at the same time how hard it was for me to say no to popcorn. And I actually even gave in a couple of times and had some popcorn, which is definitely not on my plan. But I thought about, I saw him eating the popcorn. I'm like, man, that's just not a thing anymore. I wasn't even tempted. I remember last year, I kind of made some plans, which is good to do, by the way. I made some plans for how I was going to kind of avoid that hungry feeling and that desire that I had for, got my dogs barking back there. Must be somebody in the alleyway. But I had some plans last year for what I was going to do to kind of mitigate those hunger feelings that I might have during the game and the desire to snack. I think I took some bacon, some pocket bacon, some bacon in a Ziploc bag one time. Made sure to eat right before I went to the game, those kinds of things. And that just wasn't a thing for me this year. I mean, we did have dinner before we went to the football game, but I didn't even think about it. And that was so interesting to me. And so what I wanted to share with you as I thought about that was a couple of different things. First, if you've been on the keto journey for a while, to think back and think about, however long you've been on it. If you've been on it for 5 years, think back where you were 5 years ago. Think about where you were 2 years ago. For me, I've been a little over a year, so I'm thinking back to where I was a year ago and be proud of the progress that you've made. If you're somebody like me, I've made a lot of progress. I have a lot of my journey yet to go to where I get before I get to a healthy, what I would consider to be a healthy weight for somebody of my height. And it can be easy to get bogged down kind of in the middle of the journey. So think back on those successes. Like I really took a second and was like, wow, first of all, much more comfortable to sit in my seat. And second of all, just didn't have those food cravings. Now, if you're new to the keto journey, if you've happened upon my channel and you don't know anything about the keto diet, or you've just started the keto diet, what I wanted to tell you about is that for those of us who've been doing it for a while, and there's people who've been doing it a lot longer than I have, but sometimes we forget what it was like when we started. So if you've got a friend that's been doing keto for a long time and they're getting you started on the journey, and they're going to remember probably some of the big things that happen when you start, like they'll tell you to make sure to get your electrolytes in, and there'll definitely be some pieces of advice for getting started. But I think one of the things that we forget is that when we first started, for some of us, it was really hard, and some of those cravings were really severe. And we forget about that, I think, because as human beings, we talk about how adaptable the human body is, and it's amazingly adaptable. I am living proof of that, having lost as much weight as I have, and gone from being able to barely go from the couch to the fridge and back to being able to go for a walk every day, and I have a yoga program that I do every day. The human body is amazingly adaptable. I would posit that the human mind is just as adaptable, if not more adaptable, than the human body. Our ability to adapt is amazing. But what comes along with that is we tend to forget how things were. As we adapt and change in our lives, as I've become healthy in my life, it's hard sometimes, unless I really think about it, to remember back to what it was like when I was unhealthy, to remember what it was like when I was really craving like that popcorn at the football game. And so because of that, if you're just starting out on the keto journey and you have someone who's wanting to help you along, it might be hard for them to remember sometimes that it was hard at the beginning, that those cravings were real and they were intense. We talk about with the keto lifestyle how great it is that I don't have carb cravings anymore, and I don't. And that's wonderful, but that wasn't always true. My first few months, it was tough. I had keto treats that I had available to me to help me to stay on track. Now, was it easier than other things that I've tried in the past? As I've mentioned to you, if you've watched my videos before, there have definitely been other diets and ways of eating that I've tried, and it was hard, to white knuckle it, and keto was much easier, but it was not always easy. And so if you're just starting out and you're having those carb cravings, if you're, it's everything you can do to not have that piece of pizza or whatever it is, know that you're not alone. And know that even that really well-meaning person who's been doing keto for, maybe way longer than I have, let's say they've been doing keto for 5, 6, 7, 10 years, it might be hard for them to remember what those cravings were like. So they might say things to you like, the cravings will go away really fast, and almost kind of gloss over that. Not because they don't care, but possibly because they've forgotten. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you and let you know that, again, if you've been on this journey for a while, take a look back. Remember what it was like to be, new on this journey. And if you're brand new to the journey, you're not alone. If you're having struggles, if you're having cravings, whatever it is. And there are tons of amazing people in this community that would love to help you out and help you along the way. And if they've possibly forgotten what it was like to be brand new, try not to take that personally. Before I finish up today, I guess I just wanted to share one other thing that I did this week. From the keto conference, one of the things that I had written down for myself, I think it was actually Dr. Barry's talk that he gave, which I love Dr. Berry. I've watched so many of his videos. Most of his talk was things that I'd heard before. But one thing that I wrote down that kind of spoke to me was that I thought I would give a try to a bit longer of a fast. And actually, it wasn't just his presentation. I want to tell you that Dr. Berry is wonderful and nice a person as you think that he might be when you watch him on his videos. When people say that he's really approachable, like if you meet him at a conference like I was able to do, he absolutely is. He's kind, he is patient, and one of the things that I asked him about is, as I mentioned, I've lost 150 pounds. I'm just starting to get a little bit of concern because I'm starting to have a little bit of sagging skin in places. And I asked him about that. And he said one of the things that I could do, it wouldn't be fast, but one of the things that I could do before maybe having some skin removal surgery would be to try longer fasts. And that might, through autophagy, allow my skin to sort of contract back. And so, based off of that conversation with him, I'm certainly not to the point where I'm all the way through my journey. Got a ways to go yet here, but I thought, well, I haven't really tried more of an extended fast, so I'd give one a try. I tried one this week. I fasted for 42 hours. I had dinner on Wednesday, and then I didn't eat it all on Thursday, and I broke my fast at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Friday. And I just wanted to tell you that that was an amazing experience for me, and it was a really positive experience for me. As a part of my my faith, I try to fast once a month and fast for 24 hours. Throughout my life, I've done that begrudgingly sometimes, but I will tell you that it's always been a struggle for me. And one of the things that's been pretty amazing about being on the ketogenic lifestyle is how easy, surprisingly, fasting was. I really wasn't hungry. And even as I got to the end of that 42 hours, I basically decided to eat because that's what I sort of decided beforehand I was going to do. I really didn't. I felt like I could have fasted longer. Obviously, I have plenty of fat storage still, so I'm sure that's what was going on. My body was able to use that fat for storage. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. If any of you have heard about extended fasting or whatever, and you want to give it a try, I drank plenty of water while I fasted, and I made sure to have, I had some electrolyte drops to make sure that I was still getting sodium, magnesium, potassium, keeping my electrolytes up, but I wasn't eating. And one of the things that Dr. Berry said, I'm actually going to look in my notes here. He said, fasting is a chance to rebuild, to work on the factory, which is your body. He says, when do you work on a factory? You have to kind of take everything offline if you're gonna repair things, and that's kind of one of the things that fasting can do. And I really felt like it did. So anyway, those are the things that I wanted to share with you today. I hope that it's been helpful to you. If it has, please be sure to like my video, subscribe to my channel if you'd like to, and hit that bell icon so that you can be notified the next time I share my little bit more of my keto journey with you. But thank you so much for being a part of my journey. Thank you so much for watching my video. For those of you that I've met in real life, thank you for your love, your support. I just really appreciate it. It really helps me along my journey. And keep calm and keto on, and we will talk to you guys soon.